everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening for our Fireside Chat. We're pre-recording today here at St. John the Baptist in Plum with our Director of Music Ministry, Amanda Nicholson. And Amanda, thank you so much for being here with us this evening.
Sure.
I wanted to start out by letting our viewers kind of get to know you a little better. So let's start by having you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you came to be the Director of Music Ministry here at St. John's.
Okay, so I grew up in upstate New York, so I'm
Me too.
not native to this place, but I really love it here. And so I come from a really big Catholic family. I'm the oldest of 10.
Yes.
That's usually the look that I get when I say that.
Like 10 kids is a lot.
Yeah. And so we're a really big, close family. You know, so it's a little bit difficult to be this far away sometimes. But I actually started with my interest in music through the church.
Okay.
We would go to Mass every Sunday, and we didn't have a pianist or an organist, but we had a woman that played the guitar and sang.
Okay.
So we would always be those people that sat right up front.
So you could see everything.
Yeah. And so I got like a front row view, and you know this woman was, you know, singing and playing her guitar in front of me every week. And so I said to my parents, I'd really like to take guitar lessons. That, you know, that kind of sparked that in me. But being that we're from this really small rural area,
and there's 10 of you.
There weren't very many music teachers in the area, so it was difficult to find. And so my dad found a woman that taught piano, and he said, how about piano lessons instead? And so at first I was like,
But Dad,
not my first choice.
Guitar,
yeah. But I was like, okay, you know, yeah, let's do that. So
how old were you when you started?
I was 9.
You were 9
when I started. Yeah. So I took lessons for a couple of years from this woman, and then she ended up moving away.
Oh.
And at the same time, we had a new priest that came into our parish.
Okay.
And he was a musician.
So you just transferred teachers, kind of.
I did.
That's cool.
Yeah, and he also played the organ and the piano.
Okay.
So when I was about 12 years old, I started taking organ lessons from him, and I was able to have them for free. And his deal was, he would give me free lessons if, in exchange, when I was good enough, I would play for the church.
Yeah.
So my dad and he kind of made that deal together, almost unbeknownst to me. And so then by the time I was like 14, I played for my first Mass. And
what was that like?
It was very, very nerve-wracking. I started out with like just playing a couple of hymns, and then I kind of eventually got up to being able to play for the full Mass. But yeah, it took me like 10 years before I was not nervous anymore.
Really?
It took a very long time to not be nervous for playing at Mass. So.
Hey, I'm still nervous every day. I like stand up in front of any small amount of people. So I can't imagine how you do it.
Yeah. You just get desensitized, really, eventually. So I played for the church during all of my teenage years, and then I went to Seton Hill. So that was kind of like the start of my connection with the Pittsburgh area.
Okay.
I went to Seton Hill for Sacred Music, and then I went back to New York for grad school at Houghton College. And then after I received my master's degree, I was looking for a job both in New York and Pennsylvania, and I found that this parish had an opening, and I applied, and I've been here for, I think, 11 years.
11
at this
years?
point. Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
That's lovely. I love that, like, I mean, so many musicians, like, from, you know, Michael Jackson to, like, Aretha Franklin, like, started playing in church, started singing in church. What's her name? Jennifer Hudson started in her church choir, you know? So it's incredible to see, like, how from such a young age you were like, no, I want to do that.
Yeah.
To, like, now I have my master's degree and a full-time job, and this is what I do. That's lovely. Yeah. Okay, so we're closing out the Christmas season here because it's 2019, and we have a couple days left of our Christmas season. And we have a lot going on in the 5 parishes all across Christmas. And I was hoping, we kind of started off with the St. John's choir preparing for the season with the 5 choir concert, and how that kind of kicked everything off for the Christmas season. I was hoping if you could share some reflections that you had of, like, preparing for that choir concert and how it was different from previous years.
Well, it had been different because we had never really had a collaboration of that size before. And it was kind of similar to in October when we all went to St. Irenaeus for the mission mass.
Okay.
And it was a really nice experience to be able to just get to know the other music directors, get to know the other choir members, to be able to hear them sing. You know, there was a lot of intermingling, you know, of people making connections and realizing that, oh, I know you, or I know you through this person. And so, I mean, it was just a good experience in terms of sort of building that community and, you know, starting to come together initially.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it didn't require a whole lot of, like, outside rehearsal to prepare for that, which was nice because if we would have sang all of those songs together,
as like 5 choirs all together,
yes, that would have taken months of preparation and group rehearsals. You know, we would have probably had our own rehearsals separately, and then we would have had a lot of combined rehearsals. So it was kind of nice that everybody sort of
had their own songs.
Yep, they sang 1 or 2 things, and then we did something together at the end. So yeah, I overall I thought it was a really successful event.
Yeah, every, like, person that I've spoke to were like, oh, that was so lovely, and they got to watch it because we live streamed it, and so they were really excited about that because a lot of people, the weather wasn't great that day.
No.
Yeah, so a lot of people wanted to watch from home and have the opportunity, so, like, all I've heard was, like, really good reviews about everything. Good. So. All right, my next question. So everybody sees you play Sunday mornings at Mass, but what else does the director of music do throughout the week for a parish like St. John's? And how do you pick the songs for every single Mass, every single day? Like, how does that work?
So it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah.
This question is actually something that a lot of people have asked me before. Like, oh, we see you on Sunday, and you're there, and you play for Mass, and then you go home.
And you just hang out all week, right?
Yeah,
in your pajamas.
What else do you do?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, let me tell you. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into that. So, yeah, so the most obvious thing is the planning each week. And so I don't do it week by week. It's more like a month or 2 in advance that I'm planning, just to kind of be on top of things. So there's that. I have a lot of resources that I use to kind of choose the specific songs that I'd like to use. You sort of have to look at the readings and the prayers and the theme of the day to...
and the season and all that, right? Because right now we're doing all Christmas music, but, like, I mean... We've sang all of the Christmas songs, so like, it's like, how do you, like, keep the momentum going?
Right. Yeah, and so that's part of it. Like, you know, especially through ordinary time. You know, it's like you want to choose a variety of songs. You want to choose something that is fitting for the liturgy, but you know, you want to sort of space out the music so that you're not singing the same songs all the time.
Yeah.
I try to also incorporate a balance of traditional and contemporary music so that, you know, it's not just all in one style. It's more of like a blended worship style. You know, so that...
Yeah, because you switch back and forth constantly, piano, like organ, back and forth all the time.
Yes. Yeah, so I usually do that based on the accompaniment for the piece. So whatever is going to fit stylistically better with that particular instrument, that's usually how I make that decision. So yeah, it's there's just a lot of planning and forethought that goes into that, you know, to make sure that there's this balance and that it's enriching, and so it's it can be frustrating at sometimes, but it's also really rewarding when it comes time for Mass and everything just fits and works really well, and the congregation responds, and you know, they're enthusiastic and they sing. So
do you ever get to that like one part where somebody's like, oh my gosh, I love this song, and they're flipping through the breaking bread thing and they're like waiting for the number to come up? Do you like hear that from the congregation?
Yeah, they'll come to me and be like, you did my favorite song today.
Oh,
you know, so it's and it's like, you never know, you know, like people have come up and commented on, you know, the things that I would never think about, and it's like you don't know who you're going to touch or who you're going to speak to, you know, because you don't know exactly what meaning that song has for them, or what exactly they're going through at that point in their life. So
is that one of your favorite parts?
It is. It's really rewarding. So then also throughout the week, I'm also like planning for a rehearsal. I have a couple of rehearsals a week. I work with the school kids, I work with the adult choir, I work with the preschoolers. So I have to kind of plan the rehearsal out and make sure that I'm not spending a lot of time on one thing, so I make like a rehearsal plan. I make recordings that I send to everybody.
Yes, sometimes on some of my videos you'll hear music in the background, and that is our brilliant Amanda's music playing.
Okay. So yeah, I make those recordings, and like I'll send the responsorial psalm to the cantor each week.
Oh yeah, you told me about that. Yeah.
Yes. I will send the choir pieces. I'll make 4 recordings of one choral piece, because I'll do the soprano line, the alto line, bass, tenor.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of recording that happens, so that everyone can have their music and learn it throughout the week
and
or throughout the month, and that helps choir rehearsal go much more smoothly if they kind of have that basis where they can start to learn something before rehearsal or practice it through the coming weeks. That helps to kind of move rehearsal along a lot smoother, so that everybody can catch on to things.
They've already kind of studied it,
right?
You know, almost.
Yes.
So that's great.
I make the worship aids that go in the gather hymnals. I have to create those. We have like a license that we are subscribed to, so that we can reprint that music legally.
Okay.
So I go on the website, you have to download all of the files, create the worship aid. There are other organists that play here, so I have to send music to them. So
right, because you're not playing every single morning Mass.
Right. Well, we have somebody that plays on Saturday, and then also for Sunday night. So I have to send out the music to them. I have to scan everything and send that to them. And then there's just the playing of all of the Masses, the weddings, the funerals. There's a school Mass every week. So there's just a lot of variety.
Yeah, and we've been very busy lately, like with school happening, holidays, everything, the whirlwind of like Christmas season. It's kind of been intense, to say the least. Yeah. So next, now that Christmas season is coming to a close, what's next? What do you have planned for St. John's Music Ministry in the coming months?
So right now we're in that little period of ordinary time.
The little one. Yeah.
Usually, well, this one's a little bit longer this year, because Easter is going to fall on April 21st, I believe.
Yeah, which is crazy, right? So late.
Yes, it's very late this year. So that does give us a little bit of extra ordinary time during this season. So right now, if you want to call it downtime, we're in that like in between period between Christmas and Lent. But basically, the process that I went through for Christmas, all of the planning of the choral music, the recording to kind of prepare the choir for rehearsal, all of the rehearsal time, and then the actual implementation at Mass that's just kind of repeating itself. We're just going through that cycle again. Everything that happened for Christmas we're now just going into Lent and Easter. And
is Lent and Easter kind of like as intense as like Advent and Christmas season?
It's more so.
More so?
Yes, because of Holy Week.
Yes.
So for Christmas, we have the same music for all of the masses that I play at Christmas. But then for Holy Week, we have 4 separate days. Thursday,
5, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, we have Palm Sunday, and then Holy Thursday, Good Friday, the Easter Vigil, Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
So the music is different.
Yeah, because they're all
service.
4 different days, 5 different days. Yeah.
Yes. So, in my opinion, it's much more intense than Christmas is.
Yeah, but do you enjoy? Which one do you like better? Like, do you like Christmas music better, Advent music better, like Lent music better?
I think my favorite Mass is actually Holy Thursday.
Really? Why?
Yeah, I am not really sure. I've thought about it before.
Really?
And I'm not really sure that I have an answer to that, but I'm just drawn to that particular Mass. I'm not sure if it's the washing of the feet. One of my favorite hymns is Pange Lingua that we sing at the end. As the priest and servers process through the church and at the tabernacle. It's just really solemn and touching at that time, and everybody leaves in silence, and the altar is stripped, and there's just like this
like a cleansing.
Yeah, and like a feeling of reverence and solemnity. I think that might be part of the reason I'm drawn to that.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's always, that like solemnness is something that like always kind of like attracts your heart to like be at peace right before this really intense, liturgical and like Christian holiday of Easter. Yeah. So if that's one of your favorite hymns, what is your favorite hymn? Could you possibly even have one?
I think I do. I have a bunch, but if I had to pick, I would say my favorite hymn is "O God Beyond All Praising."
Okay.
It's to the tune Thaxted. And so there's a couple of different texts that can be set to that particular tune, but it's definitely
that's
right up
one
there.
of your top 5 at least.
Yeah.
That's great. What is your favorite part about being the director of music here at St. John's?
The people.
Yeah.
Really. I've never been in a place before where I've just had the experience of being around so many good, genuine,
welcoming,
caring. Yeah. And like I said at the beginning, I'm an outsider to this place.
Same. Right.
And I've just been wholly accepted here, and everybody in the music ministry and in all of the ministries, they're just so great. It's been a really good experience, and I've heard from other organists, other music directors that have stories of characters that they had to work with.
Of characters, yes.
And whether it's like a personality conflict with the pastor, or a conflict with another staff member, or if it's a choir member that wants to tell them how to do things. Well, this is how we do it here.
See if a new director comes in. Yeah.
Right.
But
right.
I mean, for me, I've gotten nothing but like kindness and respect and like this welcoming nature. Like all these little old ladies like asked me if they could cook for me. Like just It's lovely and amazing, and I love you all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of the atmosphere here, and
It
I don't
is.
know how much time you've spent at the other parishes, but I mean, it really reflects in our area, which is lovely for us New
Yeah.
Yorkers here.
Yeah, yeah, it is. You know, it has been great, and this is I've played at many other churches throughout my time, but coming out of grad school, this has been my first full-time job, and you know, so sometimes I wonder, well, you know, is it like this everywhere, or is this just a really special place? You know, because I haven't experienced people like this before, and you know, like I said, I've heard.
So, what do you think? Is it a really special place?
I think it is. Yeah.
I'd agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, it's been great, and I appreciate it because you know, it is really difficult to be away from my family.
Yeah.
And you know, so the people here have kind of made me feel, you know, a part of a family here. So it's been great.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing yourself with us this evening. I really
Sure.
appreciate it, and we thank you so much for being part of our Fireside Chat. Everybody, don't forget to tune in next week. I will be with Deacon Tim Noka as we talk about our substance abuse ministry, which is something that's personally very close to my heart. And we have a lot of wonderful people coming up on our Fireside Chats for the weeks to come. So we just want to say thank you very much. God bless you, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Amanda. Bye-bye.
Bye.